Well, where did I get the nickname Herman? Herman the German, the Hermanator. Well, it was a guy named Bob Miller. God, when I was a kid, it looked to me like he was 8 foot tall, but I believe Bob was about 6'3", big German man, crew cut, a man's man. You didn't mess with Bob. But he was a good race car driver, and Bob was a promoter at Lake Hill Speedway. But number one for me is he owned a used car dealership down in city of St. Louis somewhere. And, you know, we'd get bored, and Dad would say, I think Dad started calling me Herman. We'd go down to Bob's used car lot. And my dad and Bob would drink coffee at 6, 7 o'clock at night. Wintertime, boring, right? Getting dark. And boy, that was just driving me nuts, you know. So I would find every used car. I'd get in every used car, and I'd pretend I was A.J. Foyt. Later on, about a month later, Bob also noticed that I was getting in fights at his racetrack, right? I was a little crazy, as we all know. I was hyperactive. At Lake Hill Speedway, Bob was the promoter. Well, all of a sudden, it come across the announcers. Russ Wallace, please report to the judges stand. Your son, Kenny, is in a fight. True story. Me and my mom, we beat the hell out of men that talk crap about my dad. So anyway, it was Bob Miller that nicknamed me Herman the German. And the reason Herman the German was a big deal because there's actually really a Herman the German. And his wife's name was Hilda. And actually there's a big old statue somewhere up in Wisconsin, I believe. And I went down south. They started calling me Herman. And all my friends, hell, you watch the TV every once in a while or a radio, and they go, oh, Herman's leading the race. So it was Bob Miller that nicknamed me Herman the German. Then it was Herman, but the Hermanator. Let me tell you where that came from real quick. We're at Darlington, and I am accidentally in front of my brother in points in the Cup Series. He's driving the Blue Deuce, the Miller Genuine Draft car, and I'm over here in the number 81 Square E car, right? Well, my team, Philmar Racing, Gil Martin and the boys, O. Newton Moore, they had a jack, and they just painted the jack black. I don't know who it was, but somebody on Rusty's team, you know, Rusty was kind of pissed off that I was ahead in points for 1 week. And they took that black jack and they took a gold marker and they wrote, the Hermanator. I looked at that, I went, oh yeah, that's awesome. So, you know, if you're going to be a character like I am, and you're bald, you're like, you know, I'll put a little hair on me, I'll put some badass glasses, and I'm Speedy Gonzalez. So anyway, I hope that answered your question. Bob Miller nicknamed me Herman the German because I was absolutely crazy and I was always in trouble. And Herman the German was a medieval warrior back in like the 1780s. And I guess Bob being a German man, I reminded him of Herman the German.